In the third year of scamming Alexander Hayes, the heir of the elite Hayes family, I got pregnant. They said the Hayes heir was too noble and aloof to tolerate a knocked-up-kept woman. So I fled the city overnight with my baby bump. He tore through the entire metropolis searching for me like a madman but found nothing. When forced to return years later, Alex suddenly appeared, gripping my throat. "Emily," he growled. "Did you forget how to stay gone?" Our daughter Olivia immediately hugged his leg, beaming, "Mommy, this is the daddy I picked for us." "Oh, sweetheart, you literally found your biological father." I'd been Alex's carefully kept secret for 3 years. The man was emotionally distant and aloof, never showing affection except during rare moments of passion when his control slipped. Yet I remained his only mistress all this time. Clutching the pregnancy test, I rushed to the bar where he was. The private lounge fell silent as I entered. His best friend Ryan was speaking. "Your parents arranged a marriage with the Brooks family's youngest daughter. She's gorgeous. Just comply." Alex swirled his whiskey. "You want her? Take her yourself." Ryan chuckled. "What's so special about your little goldfinch anyway? Has her singing hypnotized you?" My breath caught waiting for his answer. He remained silent. "What if she got pregnant?" Ryan prodded. Alex slammed his glass down. "I use protection. She won't. Can't. Would you make her abort if she did?" The icy silence answered for him. My hands shook as I shredded the test results. How delusional I'd been, imagining he'd want this child. Only later did I learn Alex had shattered his whiskey tumbler that night when someone made crude remarks about me. When Alex didn't return home, I dreamed of him choking me. Eyes blazing crimson. "Who do you think you are? A toy doesn't breed Hayes heirs." I woke gasping, remembering the monster beneath his aristocratic veneer. 3 years ago when Alex was drugged during an ambush, I'd lied about him assaulting me to secure his protection. Now my lies had hatched consequences with his storm gray eyes and dimpled smile. That night, I knocked him unconscious. All I wanted was shelter. The consequence of plotting against him nearly killed me. I thought I'd fear him. Instead, I fell in love during our time together. More absurdly, his indulgence made me fantasize about marriage and ordinary life with him. Now, the dream must end. My hand rested on my abdomen. This child would be my only family. Alexander Hayes must never learn of its existence. Must never steal its right to be born. I dialed his rival Ryan Foster. He chuckled. "Emily, you finally called. I hated the intimacy. Get me out. Somewhere Alex can't find me." True to his word, Ryan provided escape routes past Alex's surveillance. His sole condition, distract Alex for 1 hour, my window to flee. When I asked why he couldn't create the diversion himself, he laughed darkly. "I've got to keep living after you're gone. Emily, if Alex traces this to me, my old man will skin me alive." "Maybe he won't come after you," I whispered. "Just a kept woman. Easily replaced." My 3 stolen years felt shameful. His chuckle held secrets. "Who knows?" I begged him never to reveal my whereabouts. He laughed endlessly before agreeing. That lingering unease I ignored. Alex had been generous, unlimited cards. Every comfort. Alone. I'd leave empty-handed. But for my child, I liquidated assets. Millions in boutique purchases, converting to cash through cooperative shopkeepers splitting commissions. When transaction alerts reached Alex, his call came detached as ever. "Need anything else? I'll have Dan arrange it." My pulse raced. No. Just shopping." After his non-committal hum, reckless words tumbled out. "Alex, am I just a game to you?" Silence choked me. "Never mind. Wrong number." I hung up shaking. On departure day, I greeted Alex with desperate passion. My lips found his jaw, then mouth. His grip tightened at my waist, breath quickening. When I halted at the final moment claiming menstruation, his palm lingered on my abdomen, desire cooling to something unreadable. Frowning, he asked, "Is your period early? Did you eat something cold? I'll take you to see a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner tomorrow." My heartbeat quickened, cheeks flushing as I quickly declined. Neither of us were emotionally expressive people by nature. But tonight I wanted to cling to him shamelessly, demanding kisses. Acting coquettish, craving his undivided attention. Mumbling against his collar, I said, "I really want those pear blossom pastries from the West District Night Market. I'll have Dan get them." Alex responded immediately. "No." I pressed closer, capturing his lips while batting my lashes. "I want you to go. The stall might close soon, but I need them tonight." His body tensed at this unfamiliar display of affection. When his probing gaze met mine, I fluttered my eyelashes again with deliberate innocence. He exhaled almost imperceptibly. "Fine. And be nice to the vendor. Don't scare them with your stone-faced look." "Understood." True to form, Alex never posted guards to monitor me. The moment he left, I dialed Ryan's number. Earlier, I'd scheduled a message to send automatically. "Alex, it's over. The 3 years are up. I won't bother you anymore." By the time I reached my destination, he'd receive it. How delusional I'd been, imagining Alex might spiral into madness searching for me. Ryan didn't understand my reasons for leaving but warned gravely, "If you're going, never come back. Alex is unhinged. If he discovers you tricked him and returned, he might actually kill you." Yet 4 years later, here I was descending through storm clouds toward Beijing International Airport. In the arrival's terminal restroom, my daughter Olivia threw her arms around my legs. "Mommy, I found us a handsome daddy." I chuckled, dismissing it as childish whimsy. Only my college roommate knew about my return. Olivia and I crashed at her apartment while re-establishing my life. My fledgling fashion label had gained traction overseas enough to earn an invitation to this year's Design Week. But my true purpose was finding the sister I'd recently discovered existed. My last blood relative besides Olivia. Memories resurfaced unbidden, that viral photo from years ago, Alex Hayes, heir to the Hayes empire, smiling softly while holding a box of pear blossom pastries in the neon-lit night market. Tabloids had exploded with speculation about the Brooks family's darling daughter by his side afterward. My thumb still hovered over those saved images sometimes. My friend probed cautiously over wine. "Any lingering feelings for Alex?" I shook my head. That fantasy had shattered long ago. On the morning of Fashion Week, I dropped Olivia at daycare and headed to the venue. My investigator's latest report burned in my purse, fresh leads about my sister working at a boutique near the garment district. This time, I'd find her. After arriving at the venue, I took my seat. When it was my turn to deliver the speech, the spotlight fell on me. The host asked about my creative inspiration. I spent 3 years working on Summer Voyage during a particularly intense summer. I spoke confidently on stage. Suddenly, I felt a piercing gaze from the VIP section on the second floor, a familiar figure shrouded in shadows. Those pitch-black eyes gleamed with feral intensity, watching me like a predator. My body stiffened. I barely registered the host's subsequent questions or my own robotic responses. Only when returning to the green room did the tension leave my shoulders. I turned and froze. A warm hand clamped around my throat, the familiar scent of sandalwood assaulting my senses. "Emily." Alex's voice slithered into my ear. "Did you really think you could escape me?" His eyes burned with madness, crimson-tinged fury swirling beneath those obsidian depths. The heir to the Hayes empire tightened his grip. "I should crush your throat right now." He had every reason to hate me. The golden boy who'd never faced rejection. The sole heir to the Hayes family fortune, and I'd been the one person who dared humiliate him. My vision blurred as I choked. tears streaming down my face. His thumb brushed the moisture away almost tenderly before his lips crashed against mine. The kiss tasted like vengeance and desperate hunger. For years of pent-up fury pouring into that contact. My hands instinctively tangled in his hair. Body responding despite the terror. A knock shattered the moment. Ms. Clark? Reporters are requesting an interview. I shoved him away. Alex's smirk turned lethal. Wonder what they'd think if they knew their celebrated designer was getting mauled back here. My traitorous fingers grazed his sculpted abdomen, a muscle memory from our past. I don't know. I stammered, snatching my hand back. He caught my wrist mid-retreat. Running again? His glacial tone chilled me more than any anger. Alex! Are you insane? I hissed. His laugh held no warmth. You're the one groping me in public. Emily. Who's really unhinged here? When I didn't answer, he pressed closer. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm deranged for craving your touch after everything. The raw confession terrified me more than any threat. My back pressed tightly against the door as my fingers stealthily found the handle. A low chuckle suddenly sounded above me, triggering internal alarms. He deliberately guided my palm across his sculpted abs, noticeably more defined than before our separation. Memories of how he'd once driven me to exhaustion resurfaced, making my cheeks burn crimson. Blushing already? His thumb traced my flaming cheekbone. This is only the beginning. When I tried withdrawing my hand, he trapped it against his torso. You started this. Now finish it properly. What about the reporters outside? I whispered urgently. Let them wait. His eyes hardened to glacial chips. Do you hate me? I fantasized about killing you. He admitted tonelessly, fingers digging into my hips. Then realized there are slower methods. His mouth crashed against mine as he hoisted me against the doorframe. When I gasped, he pressed a warning finger to my lips. Stay quiet unless you want them hearing everything. He breathed. All controlled brutality. The man I'd known now moved with dangerous unpredictability. Every calculated touch designed to unravel me. Later, his teeth left angry marks along my collarbone. Pain helps memory, he muttered darkly, obsessively tracing the indentations. The tenderness vanished post-climax, replaced by icy detachment. My heart still hammered when his steps faltered at the doorway. Who inspired Summer Voyage? He cut himself off mid-question, storming away without completion. 5 missed calls blinked on my phone. I fibbed about migraine-induced nap to concerned staffers. Outside, a familiar silhouette materialized under streetlights. Dan White, Alex Hayes' stone-faced assistant. For years hadn't softened his clinical demeanor. Mr. Hayes requires medication to function now. His delivery could frost windows. Either help stabilize him or disappear permanently. Your presence risks catastrophic relapse. The revelation staggered me. Alex was ill. Desperately so. Tracking down my estranged half-sister proved equally jarring. Olivia's cropped hair and leather jacket screamed rebellion, though our bone structures mirrored enough to unsettle. She recoiled from my outreach, discomfort etching her features. Don't, she warned when I reached out, the gulf between us widening with each backward step. Every day, Olivia needed to work part-time jobs. So I gave her a credit card and made sure to check in on her often. Having never experienced familial warmth myself, I wanted my little sister to know what it felt like. Lately though, I'd been swamped with work, always having to cut our meetings short. The company I was collaborating with sent a representative to invite me to a charity gala. The room would be filled with society's elite. My handler emphasized this was my chance to network for sponsorship opportunities that could kickstart my future fashion line. I nodded along, playing the part. The moment I stepped into the ballroom, my stomach dropped. Half the room contained familiar faces. My handler steered me through the crowd, forcing champagne flutes into my hands as we schmoozed potential investors. I pasted on my best pageant smile, clinking glasses with men who leered at me like wolves circling prey. When I reached a particularly smug hedge fund manager, he dramatically squinted at my name tag. Emily Clark? Wait, the Emily Clark? Didn't you used to run with Alex Hayes Crab back in the day? His laugh carried across the room. How the mighty have fallen. From Manhattan socialite to, what is this? A cocktail waitress? Can't all be born with silver spoons. I replied evenly, refusing to let my smile slip. His gaze dropped to my neckline. Though I will say, some assets seem to have improved with. A cold voice cut through the humid air. Christ. Listen to yourself. Olivia materialized beside me, her stiletto heels clicking like gunshots. You sound like a Victorian-era incel who just discovered Reddit. Worry less about her cleavage and more about compensating for whatever's lacking in your tailored trousers. I choked on my champagne. My baby sister positioned herself slightly in front of me, a lioness guarding her pride. The investor's face cycled through shades of puce and vermilion. Think you're clever, bitch? He slammed his glass down, ice cubes clattering. At least I'm not the one clinging to his beans. Tell you what, meet me at the St. Regis tonight and I might throw some charity dollars your way. His meaty hand shot toward my wrist. The crowd around us erupted in drunken cheers. These vultures remembered me, the girl who dated Alex Hayes through college. The one who'd kneed a senator's son in the groin at last year's Met Gala after he grabbed her assistant. The same crowd now salivating to see me humiliated. I moved faster than any of them expected. The crack of my palm against his cheek echoed through the suddenly silent ballroom. He reared back to retaliate when two things happened simultaneously. Olivia yanked me backward by the waist, and a familiar polished Oxford shoe connected with the investor's ribs hard enough to send him sprawling into a tower of crystal flutes. Having fun? Alex drawled, adjusting his cufflinks amid the shattering glass. The entire room froze, Olivia included. Nobody had seen Manhattan's most elusive billionaire heir in months, least of all stepping in to defend his ex. After all, everyone in the elite circles knew Alex and Emily had been keeping their distance. Their conflict deemed irreparable. Alex set me down, turned around, and fixed me with a heavy gaze. His brow furrowed slightly. Beg me, and I'll save you. I blinked. But, haven't you already saved me? Something resembling frustration flickered in his eyes. My younger sister leaned in to whisper, You never told me your man was this hot. Strangely, the moment she said this, Alex's mood visibly lifted. What I didn't realize then was that this encounter would secure my investment. Rumors spread like wildfire through high society. The vanished songbird had returned to Alex's side, now under his explicit protection. My sister still refused to live with me. She'd been adopted by a wonderful family, thriving in their warmth. I couldn't be happier for her. That night, I fell down a rabbit hole of Alex-related headlines. One entertainment piece stopped me cold. Elite Scion's $1 million meltdown. Hayes heir turns city upside down. The accompanying video showed Alex wearing the same suit from our parting day, eyes bloodshot like he hadn't slept in weeks. The camera zoomed in on scattered pear blossom pastries at his feet, my favorite treats he'd often bring. 4 months afterward, Alex-related news would surface then vanish instantly. Whispers claimed he'd silenced media outlets through ruthless means. Even the tabloid rumors about him marrying the Brooks family's heiress disappeared without trace. Olivia suddenly hugged me from behind. Mommy, I saw that handsome uncle again. He's exactly the daddy I want. I smiled through the pang in my chest, carrying her to bed. It baffled me how she resembled me so completely, sharing only our mango allergy with Alex. As I left her room, my best friend called me over. She hesitated before confessing. Alex came looking for you after you left. He seemed unstable, like he was holding himself together by threads. I lied about knowing where you were. Her voice dropped. They don't report it, but he's been battling severe insomnia and manic episodes. Medications barely help. When she paused, I met her gaze squarely. He still loves me. My certainty came from memories others didn't share, how this germaphobe who'd once disinfected himself 3 times daily after touching me gradually stopped. The real sanitization had been letting me in. Most people couldn't get close to him. To adapt to life around him. I'd developed germophobic habits too, maybe that's why I'd stayed by his side this long. But last time in the lounge, I hadn't smelled that sharp disinfectant odor. And he hadn't sanitized before initiating physical contact. Now here he was, intervening during the altercation. His aura turned vicious when he kicked that man. My phone rang with an unknown number. Yet I distinctly recognized Daniel White's contact. The moment I answered, Dan's unusually panicked voice blurted, "Ms. Clark. Mr. Hayes is having an episode, it's worse than ever." My throat tightened. "Call a doctor. He keeps screaming your name. No one can approach him. And he's burning up. Contact the Brooks family then." "Why them?" the tabloids said. "Those are lies." Dan cut in like I'd summoned demons. "The Hayes and Brooks families have zero connections." Sweat slicked my palms. All my earlier doubts evaporated. The clarity hit like ice water. I still loved Alexander Hayes. Never stopped. Which is why I came. Smashed porcelain and shrieks echoed from the mansion. Servants clustered outside whispering. When they spotted me, their faces lit up. "Ms. Clark. Thank God you're here, he's inside." I came because I couldn't ignore him. But shouldn't they be calling medics instead of staring at me like some messiah? The crowd pushed me toward the entrance. Coppery blood hit my nostrils. Dan and bodyguards struggled to restrain Alex. His eyes blazed crimson. Feral energy radiating. A guard choked in his grip while others lay moaning on the floor. Dan paled seeing me. "Where's the sedative?" "What sedative?" "Get out!" "Lock the..." Too late. Alex's obsidian eyes locked onto me. The guard dropped forgotten. He stood motionless, staring like a lost puppy. The absurd comparison stuck. Hesitantly, I reached out. "Come here?" He shuffled forward, sudden docility clashing with bloodied knuckles. The vicious Hayes heir now nuzzled my palm with a quiet whine. All coiled tension melting. I hesitated for a moment before reaching out to embrace him. His body burned with fever. Quickly, I pressed my palm to his forehead. He nuzzled against my hand, murmuring Emily Clark. Emily, like a broken record. Dan, standing nearby, raised an eyebrow. "Am I just part of your weird foreplay now?" Moments later, he returned with a syringe the size of cow medication, plunging it dramatically into Alex's arm. When our eyes met, Dan deadpanned. Public displays of affection shorten lifespans. Together we maneuvered Alex into bed. While fetching water, I paused outside the study, that forbidden room from our past when I'd been his kept songbird. Dependent on the Hayes family patronage for survival in the city. Now free from those ties. I turned the knob. My breath caught. The walls swam with versions of me, glossy prints spanning years. Domestic shots from before I left blended seamlessly with candids from my 4 years abroad. My pulse roared. Alex had always known where I was. Tracked my every move. Yet he'd never come. Why? My voice trembled as Dan appeared in the doorway. "Alex believed you hated him. That you'd built a new life with Ryan." His words painted vivid images, Alex compulsively curating this shrine. Rejecting fresh intel while secretly pinning up each new photo. Discovering Olivia's existence through blurred surveillance shots. Never daring to hope she might be his. I almost laughed remembering Ryan's mystified text about being jumped outside his Boston brownstone. The timing never added up. Olivia arrived 2 weeks late. Though I'd claimed 4. Of course Alex would miscalculate. Noticing familiar fabric rustling beyond the doorframe, I bit back a smile. Since when had Alex become this transparent? setting a water glass on the nightstand. I helped prop him up. He drank slowly before collapsing against me with exaggerated frailty. The act felt off. Alexander Hayes had always been this towering, unshakable presence in my life, someone who never faltered. But when he murmured, "You being here brings me back to sanity," his voice cracked. "Emily, I'm sick. Really sick." My world tilted. I realized his illness hadn't begun after I left. Alex, the Hayes family heir, had been battling this darkness all along. My departure only deepened the spiral. His violent episodes requiring custom sedatives and literal chains kept in the mansion, horrors he'd hidden behind tailored suits and boardroom authority. Now he deliberately exposed these raw wounds. Sweat, damp hair clinging to his forehead as he pressed his face against my collarbone. "Emily," he whispered, "just pity me a little. Same ruthless tycoon. Just sharper tactics now. Do you hate children?" I blurted out later. "Absolutely." His answer came swift and cold. I slipped away while he slept. Olivia mattered more, my 3-year-old who'd never know how I fled my own father's betrayal. That man sold me to a casino boss after gambling away everything. But I escaped into Alex's compromised hotel suite the night rivals tried drugging him. Fate's cruel joke. When Ryan invited dinner, I accepted. Needed answers about those incriminating photos. After I disappeared, I asked, stirring my martini, "Did Alex ever confront you?" Ryan's jaw tightened. "He tore the city apart for weeks. Found out I helped you vanish? Showed up with 6 guys and broke 3 of my ribs." He massaged his side reflexively. "Month-long hospital stay. Thanks." I sighed sympathetically. "Doesn't your family ever rein in Alex Hayes?" His expression darkened further. "They tried. Sent a bunch of thugs after me instead. After I stole Alex's golden goose. They nearly struck me from the family registry." I chuckled nervously, quickly serving him more food. To make amends, I sent over some care packages later. When he walked me home, he said quietly, "I'm not a good man. Crushing Alex gives me satisfaction. Though I don't know why you left him. But mark my words, you're the only person that ever mattered to him." A man recognizes that look in another's eyes. I froze. His gaze shifted behind me as his lips curved. Ruffling my hair, he said, "Rare to find someone as decent as me. You'll figure it out eventually." Pondering his words, I'd just reached my apartment complex when arms snaked around me. A familiar cedar scent enveloped me as calloused fingers gripped my chin, forcing my head sideways. Lips brushed my ear as a dangerously calm voice murmured, "Emily, you care for everyone except me?" Was Summer Voyage created from love, or to erase me? "Emily, you know what madmen crave hearing, don't you?" I shook my head, cupping his face. I stood on tiptoes. Our lips met as I whispered, "I love you." He stiffened. "Say that again," he demanded hoarsely. Meeting his stormy gaze, I repeated, "Alex, I think I still love you." His breath hitched as he bent to claim my lips. Suddenly, tiny footsteps pattered from the building. A small figure launched itself at his legs. "Uncle Alex. Mommy. This is the daddy I picked." "Oh, sweetie. You brought your actual father home? He's super rich. Nice to me too. No weird aunties around. Make him my daddy." Alex's jaw tightened. "Emily," he bit out. "You think some half-hearted confession makes me stepdad material?" I almost laughed. After all his investigating, hadn't he realized my only possible partner these past years was him? Olivia's bright eyes darted between us. She stage whispered, "Mommy, go get him. He's just being stubborn." His carefully crafted composure shattered. Choking back laughter, I knelt to send Olivia upstairs. After everyone had left, Alexander finally spoke softly. "Did it hurt?" I froze. He stared intently at me, When you gave birth. Why wasn't the man who got you pregnant there by your side? Suddenly I understood his meaning. Was he really worth risking your life for? Worth leaving the country and facing childbirth complications alone? I asked. What complications? After 2 seconds of silence, he revealed. Your mother died of postpartum hemorrhage. I never wanted you facing that danger. If it were up to me, I'd never have let you carry a child. Bitter amusement rose in my throat. When I finally spoke, my voice scraped like sandpaper. Do you know Olivia's actual birth date? March 21st, 2019. I shook my head, surprised he remembered. February 8th. I deliberately changed the records. His eyes widened. Calculations flickered behind his gaze before his entire body tensed. Olivia, I nodded. She's ours. There's never been anyone else. It's always been you. The pity you thought I felt? That was never real. My feelings haven't changed since the beginning. I recounted overhearing his conversation with friends that fateful day, along with dozens of other moments he'd never realized I noticed. Finally, I reached for his hand, our fingers intertwining as I met his stormy gaze. Second chance? His grip trembled. I've waited years to hear that. Later he confessed those friends had never dared mention his condition before. What should have been momentary regret had festered into years of sleepless nights. Yet my own regrets burned equally bright, wasted time. Fear of vulnerability. All those silent years. When Alex learned my best friend had pushed me to confess, he bought her entire company. For a month, she wandered around muttering, "But I don't know how to run a business." His response? Let it bankrupt. I'll buy you another. Better yet, bring your questions to our corporate office. Meanwhile, I became majority shareholder of Hayes Group. My traitorous best friend, thoroughly bribed, promptly evicted Olivia and me from her apartment. We naturally moved into Alex's estate. The first meeting between father and daughter resembled a mafia negotiation. Alex, where's your father? Olivia, Mommy says he's in heaven, but also that he's a meanie who made her cry. I like you though. You can be my new daddy, but you have to pass Mommy's test, or I won't call you Dad. I nearly choked, dragging my mini traitor aside for emergency damage control. 6 hours of explanations later, Olivia finally nodded solemnly. Okay. But you both have to say I love you every day. And Daddy needs to buy me ponies to make up for lost time. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, Olivia beamed like a little son. Olivia has a daddy now. Just like all the other kids. I visited Olivia frequently, bringing her snacks and caring for her. Though initially wary, she gradually opened up and accepted me. One day she suddenly remarked, "Oh, I went from cheap labor to regular labor," teasing about my free childcare. But Olivia was an absolute angel, sweet, mischievous, and adored by the Hayes family who'd adopted her. Their home brimmed with laughter. I'd assumed Alex and I came from incompatible worlds, that his family would never approve of us. Yet when we met, they kept saying, "How wonderful, after all these twists and turns. It's still you two." That's when I learned Alex had proposed marriage to his parents 4 years prior. The Hayes clan had been won over long before by his determination. One misty dawn, I dreamt of pear blossom pastries. Half asleep, I nudged Alex's shoulder. "Alex, could you get me those pastries?" When silence answered, I blinked awake to find him staring at me with stormy eyes. "You're trying to leave again?" he demanded hoarsely. I shook my head frantically. "No. I really just want the pastries this time." Without a word, he carried drowsy Olivia to the neighboring room, instructing Dan to watch her before returning. The door lock clicked decisively. "Time to settle old debts," he murmured, fingers circling my ankle as he pulled me closer. I gasped, men truly never forget. When I awoke next, sunlight glinted off a diamond ring the size of a pigeon egg on my finger. Alex traced my cheekbone. We've got a lifetime of accounts to balance, slowly. Thank you all for the company, your support fuels my passion for sharing these sweet romance stories. See you next time.